Hello veterans and welcome back. I'm Rachel Hernandez. I'm the communications manager here at VetComm, and thanks to our partnership with Veterans InfoTap, we're here to connect you with his latest videos and bring you even more great content. The VA pension is a little known benefit for certain wartime veterans and their survivors. It's not a retirement pension for VA workers, but rather a safety net program for low or no income veterans. While most veterans are better off pursuing VA disability compensation, the VA pension can be a better option for some, especially those with little income or those who don't apply for disability compensation. Jason with Veterans InfoTap has more.
Hey, thanks for making it to Veterans InfoTap. I'm glad you made it. Let's talk about VA pension. VA pension may be better for some veterans out there from a monetary standpoint. VA pension is another monetary benefit that the VA provides. It's a horrible name. I hate that they call it VA pension because it sounds like it's a retirement for a VA worker. It is not. I like to frame it up as VA pension is a safety net program for low and no income veterans. Now, most people are going to be better off going after VA compensation for disability, right? Disability compensation. But I wanted to dive into this to shed a little light on it because everybody's situation is different. So before we do, though, I want to throw out a very special thank you to Robert Bittencourt. Robert Bittencourt, 1386. Hey, I truly appreciate your support, your comments, your super chat comment as well. Thank you so much for your generous donation. I really do appreciate that very much. It really does help the channel, and I appreciate it. Thank you so much for your support, Robert Bittencourt. All right, jumping into it, VA pension. VA pension. Now, most people don't even understand how it works. It is limiting. Okay, it's limiting. It's not the preferred way to go, but in some cases, it is the better option for a veteran who might have a very small VA disability compensation and no real other income, or a veteran who basically is to the point where they can't work anymore and they don't have a lot of income coming in. Maybe they don't have a lot of documentation to support VA claim for disability. You know, that's a hard hill to climb for a lot of folks, and they can't get TDIU, total disability, individual unemployability, based on just not having the service connection pieces in place. So with that, how much can you receive? We'll start with that from a dollar perspective, and there's a lot of nuance in this, and so I'm going to preface it with, I'm really just giving you the awareness here of how this works. We're going to dive into it a little bit. I'll explain how they do offsets and all that stuff lightly, but really to get the nuts and bolts, you really want to work with a claim representative, preferably somebody who is accredited, who can sit there and work with you to get this stuff done. I was, it's probably still out there, accredited with the VA. I functioned as a veteran service officer. I had veteran service representatives who were also accredited that worked for me, and that's what we did. So let's talk through this. This is a means-tested benefit, right? So they're going to look at your income. So VA pension benefits. VA pension benefits are available to some wartime veterans. Now, not had to have served in theater, right? You didn't have to actually be in a war zone, we'll call it, or combat zone. You just had to have served during that period of time. And interestingly enough, also, surviving spouses of war period veterans could also receive VA pension. So this is, again, very important benefit that many people aren't aware of. So let's talk about some of the qualifiers here, and we will go through that. The pay, though, before we jump into it, for example, if you're a qualified veteran with a dependent with a dependent non-veteran spouse, okay? So a non-veteran spouse is your dependent. You have no children. It's you and your non-veteran spouse, and and you qualify for aid and attendance benefits based on your disabilities, you could, depending on factors, receive up to the maximum allowable pension rate, which is $33,548 per year. What does that equate to? $2,795.67 per month. $2,795.67 per month. So that's a lot of money. However, this is a low and no income safety net program. So that's the maximum allowable pension that you can receive, which means that if you have any other income coming in, less any sort of deductions out of that you can do for certain non-reimbursable medical supplies, that type of stuff. There's some other things. They'll subtract that out of your income. But if you had, for example, some Social Security coming in at $10,000 per year, then what they'll do is they'll offset that maximum allowable pension rate with that $10,000 of Social Security in this example. So you'd go from $33,548 per year minus $10,000 per year takes you to $23,548 per year, which is $1,962 per month in this example. All right, so let's talk about what you would need to do with pension here. All right, so eligibility for Veterans Pension. The Veterans Pension Program provides monthly payments to wartime veterans who meet certain age or disability requirements and who have income and net worth within certain limits. Find out if you're eligible by going through all of this that I'm going to share with you. I'm going to front load it with a couple of the qualifiers here for you. So there are a few different things that you need to understand as far as the qualifiers are concerned. So one of these things must be true of you, okay, as the veteran. You're at least 65 years of age, okay, number one. That's an option. You don't have to be, but that's one qualifier. You have to be one of these four things. You're either 65 years of age or older, or you have a permanent and total disability. Now, this is confusing because we hear permanent and total on the VA disability compensation side, and that's not what they're talking about. If you have VA disability compensation, permanent and total, that's what you have, and that's where you are. You're not going to be able to get both. It won't exist. So you have a permanent and total disability that is not service connected, okay? Or you're a patient in a nursing home for long-term care because of a disability, okay? Or, and here's another qualifier, you are getting Social Security disability insurance or supplemental security insurance, so SSDI or SSI. Either one of those would also be a qualifier. So any of those things, right? You're either 65 or older, you're getting SSDI or SSI, or you have a permanent and total disability that you can prove with medical evidence, right? Not service connected, or you're a patient in a nursing home for long-term care because of a disability. All right, so let's jump into some of this other stuff here real quick. You may be eligible for Veterans Pension Program if you meet these requirements. Both of these must be true. You did not receive a dishonorable discharge. Your yearly family income and net worth meet certain limits set by Congress. Your net worth includes all of your personal property that you own, except for your house, your car, and most home furnishings, minus any debt you owe. Next one here is at least one of these things must be true about your service. Okay, there's 3 bullet points here. It's either you started on active duty before September 8th, 1980, and you served at least 90 days on active duty with at least 1 day during a war period, wartime, okay? You didn't need to go to war. You didn't need to go to a combat zone, war zone, whatever. You just needed to be in service as active duty during a war, specified war period. Next one is you or you started on active duty as an enlisted person after September 7th, 1980, and you served at least 24 months or the full period for which you were called or ordered to active duty, with some exceptions, with at least 1 day during a war time. Or you were an officer and you started on active duty after October 16th, 1981, and you hadn't previously served on active duty for at least 24 months. All right. So it's got all of the specified time periods here, World War, II, Korean conflict, Vietnam, Gulf War. They got all those time frames in there. And then my suggestion is work with your accredited rep to figure out how to fill out all the forms. You got to submit all of your financial information and disclose that stuff so they can see what your net worth is and all of that, and your monthly income, and be able to figure that out. So I'll kind of touch on that a little bit here. Your income for VA purposes is how much you earn, including Social Security benefits, investments, and retirement payments, and any income your dependents receive. Some expenses, like non-reimbursable medical expenses not covered by your insurance provider, may be able to be used to reduce your income for VA purposes. The lower you drive your income, the more you can receive for your maximum allowable pension rate. The maximum allowable pension rate is the maximum amount of pension payable. Your MAPR is based on how many dependents you have, if you're married to another veteran who qualifies for pension, and if your disabilities qualify you for housebound or aid in attendance benefits. They are adjusted each year for cost of living increases. And currently, like I said, for somebody who has a spouse and no children, a non-veteran spouse with no children, the maximum allowable pension rate is $33,548. So with that, we'll go ahead and end it there. Just wanted to bring this program to your awareness so you're aware of what's out there. In some cases, it might be more advantageous less likely, right? But this could be a better road for some veterans out there. So thanks for watching. I appreciate you very much. Have a great one. And remember, if we don't take care of each other, something went wrong.
Thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button and don't forget to like and share this video with a fellow veteran. We'll see you next time.